Shinshi, would you like to be spotlighted throughout the service, or would you like to see the people?
Um, I don't know. Let's ask the people. Maybe they have an opinion. So if we spotlight me, you can see what I'm doing a lot better, but then I can't see you guys as easily, and so it's harder to ask me questions or whatever. So what do you guys think? Any opinions? Mm,
We
six,
are
seven.
just one person away from having two screens, so if we
All
you
right.
won't see everyone anyway.
All right. Well,
And you are minimal
all right.
small.
Let's spotlight it, Beyond. That's probably a good call. Depends on people's screen sizes, etc. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'll do it as soon as we begin the unit,
Perfect.
so that you can see when people are kind of ready.
Yeah.
It's already streaming, by the way, so that's
Thank you. I'll try to not to do anything inappropriate then. Not- It's not getting better. Like that. I'll be right back. He's supposed to be. Yeah. All righty, I'm a minute late. My apologies. We good to go? Okay. First of all, thank you everyone for sharing time this morning and coming to Oryoki. It's just fantastic to see so many people here interested in what we're doing. Just really, really, really appreciate it. Um, so going to try to keep this kind of as low key as I can. Just kind of a brief introduction to Oryoki. We're just going to kind of go through it. And I'm going to mention just real quickly this book, Bow First, Ask Questions Later, by Geshen Claire Greenwood. She talks about her experiences in a nunnery in Japan. And one of the things that she describes is that oftentimes she would just get thrown into things. She would just do them. She wouldn't even know why or what the order was or how it was supposed to be done or anything. They would just start. And maybe they'd explain it to her later. So that's kind of what we're going to do if you haven't done Oryoki before. We're just going to kind of go and we're going to do it, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. As Jundo said earlier, there's no mistakes, right? There's just manifestation in the day, and we'll just do our Oryoki, and it's going to be fantastic. It'll be an introduction for some of you, and it'll be some practice for others. And that's kind of the approach we're going to take. If you've done Oryoki in other places where they have, for example, servers, you may have learned certain kinds of protocols, and we're not going to do that. It's introduced by Bion and Kote last year, and the way that we do Oryoki now, by the way, fourth Sunday of every month. Please come if you're interested. We'll just do things like serve ourselves because there's no one else here. We're doing it online, and that kind of makes the most sense. So that's basically it. If I'll just stop and see if anyone has any questions or anything, and then we'll get going. Alrighty then. So here's how we're going to start. We take our Oryoki materials and we're going to place them in front of us. Typically, we keep them on our left, and we start out with a chant. Buddha was born in Kapilavastu, enlightened in Magadha, taught in Varanasi, entered Nirvana and Kushnagara. Now we set out Buddha's bowl. May we, with all living beings, realize the emptiness of self-clinging and the three wheels, giver, receiver, and gift. Then we start opening our bowls. Yours just might be tied in a knot. Yours might be arranged a little bit differently, but basically what we're going to do is lay out our bowls. So um, we start by opening up our little knot. There we go, that side. We unwrap our wrapping cloth. We pick up our drying cloth, and you don't necessarily have to do that, but typically what we do is we'll fold it into thirds. We'll lay it back down on our utensil case and our other materials and lay them down in front of yourself, or because my space is a little limited, I've been placing them over at the side here, but wherever it's convenient for you. So we're just going to kind of unwrap everything. And again, don't really worry about the procedures. Throw in some bows where you feel comfortable. We'll just kind of work our way through it. So the next thing we do is we take our lap cloth, we pick it up, and we place it in our lap. Now we're going to unwrap our bowls. We take the top. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to kind of lay it out. And you can just open it up if you want. If you want to put little corners into it, like we typically do, that's fine too. There's a corner. There's a corner. There's a corner. So we're making sort of a placemat if you want to think about it that way. If you have a hatan, this is a point of time to open it up. Pick up your bowls. Lay your hatan down, and then the bowls go on top. As a rule of thumb, we always are picking up the bowls with just 3 fingers. So 3 fingers or 2 hands with 3 fingers. That's kind of typically how it will work. So we lay our bowls down. Again, sort of the tradition, we pick the bowls up with our thumbs. We start with our small bowl, we move it over, take our middle bowl, move it over, and that gets our bowls laid out for us. All right, then we're going to grab our utensil case. It might be an envelope for you guys, might be all kinds of things. And we're going to take out our utensils. And so we have our setsu sponge, whatever we have, chopstick, spoon. We're going to take out our chopsticks. We're going to take them and we're going to lay them down underneath our bowls. Take our spoon, lay it down underneath our bowls. Then we're going to take our setsu. It kind of flips over and goes between the small bowl and the middle bowl. We take our utensil case, move it back underneath our drying cloth. And that's basically it. We're all set. We have everything laid out, which brings us to our second chanting. This was just me, but you guys feel free to chant along as well for the other parts. It's in the documentation. In the midst of the 3 treasures which verify our understanding, entrusting ourselves to the Sangha we recall. Homage to the pure Dharmakaya Vairochana Buddha boundless. To the complete Sambhogakaya Luchana Buddha, symbol of perfection. To the manifest Nirmanakaya Shakyamuni Buddha, a man of this earth. To Maitreya Buddha, hope for the future. To all Buddhas past, present, and future in 10 directions. To the Mahayana Siddharma Pundarika Lotus Sutra. To Manjusri Bodhisattva, great wisdom. To Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, great activity. To Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, great compassion. To the myriad honored ones, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas. To the perfection of wisdom, Mahaprajna Paramita. Everybody sits in Gasho. This food of many benefits comes from the efforts of all sentient beings, past and present, and is medicine for nourishment of our practice. We offer this meal of many virtues and tastes to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and to all life in every realm of existence. May all sentient beings in the universe be sufficiently nourished. And at this point, we get ready to serve ourselves. So the basic sequence will go bow, bring your bowl over, put food into it. Actually, when you bring it back, bow to the bowl, bring your food over, bring it down, bow. You'll see me do it. But that's kind of sequence. So we'll fill up all the bowls, and you don't need to do it in sequence with me. We're just going to fill up the bowls, but feel free to do it in sequence with me. And then when you're done, we'll just sort of sit in Zazen Mudra to get ready for the next step. So now we'll do the serving. When we do the Buddha bowl and we're serving up our food, the way we've kind of worked it out is that we will take our actual Oryoki spoon and use that to distribute our rice, because your Buddha bowl is always rice of some kind. And then when you've distributed the food, place your spoon in the bowl so it's facing away from you and set it down. And I should have brought it back and bowed with it, so I'll do that now. Sorry, bow. Second bowl. Find it easiest to have another little serving spoon that I use for my second bowl. And we'll just set that down there in the middle. And then the small bowl. Place that down and wait in Zazen for everybody to be done serving. All right, that's to our next chanting. And we can all do this together. You all start out in Gasho. Will as well. First, we reflect on the labors that brought us this food and consider how it comes to us. Then we take our hands and put them in Shashu. Second, as we receive this offering, we should consider whether our virtue and practice are worthy of its receipt. Then our hands go down into the Zazen Mudra. Third, we regard greed as an obstacle to freedom of mind. Fourth, we regard this meal as medicine to sustain our life. Fifth, to attain the way, we now receive this food. Bow. And at this point, if you want to, if you have a little hungry ghost bowl, make a little offering. Take a few grains of rice out of our Buddha bowl. They get placed in our hungry ghost offering bowl. And we put our hands in Gasho and chant. For all creatures who hunger and to nourish this world, now we present you this offering. This food is for all of you in the 10 directions. And when we're done, you can take your Hungry Ghost offering out to, say, your garden or your backyard and leave it for the birds. You can do the same thing with the water that we'll be using later. All right. So the next transition point here is we're going to get ready to start eating. And there's some chanting involved for that, of course. So first step, we're going to start in Gasho. And then we're going to pick up our chopsticks and lay them down 10 to 5. It ends up at the 10 o'clock, points down at the 5 o'clock, and we're going to go. First, this is for the 3 treasures. Lay them down. Gasho again. Second, it is for our teachers, parents, planet, and all sentient beings. Third, it is for every being in all realms of existence. We bow, pick up the Buddha bowl and hold it up at eye height, and we say, thus we eat this food with everyone. We eat to end all suffering, to practice the harmless and beneficial, to save all sentient beings, and to accomplish the Buddha way. The first portion is to end all evil. The second is to cultivate every good. The third is to free all beings. May everyone realize the Buddha way. Little bow. Everyone takes a first bite together. And then we begin eating. You can eat as much from the Buddha bowl as you want. Move to your other bowls. When you're done with the Buddha bowl for a moment, put your spoon in sort of resting position with the handle facing away. You can pick up your other bowls, eat with your chopsticks or spoon if you prefer. And then when you are done with that food for a while, lay your chopsticks back down in their resting position, so on and so forth. And so at this point now, we'll just go ahead and start eating, we want to, be present in the moment as we're eating our food. We want to appreciate all of the various elements that came together for us to be able to enjoy this food, from the sun and the rain that nourished the crops that produced this food, to the farmers that were diligently working to raise the crop, to the transportation people that brought it to your grocery store, to the people that were there at the checkout line. All kinds of things all had to happen almost in a miraculous kind of combination to bring this food together for us to enjoy. And it's important for me also to note that this nourishes our life and it nourishes our practice. And so it's important to be thankful for this experience and to have gratitude in our hearts. That's how I think. Um, Go ahead and eat. There'll be an opportunity to serve some seconds if you want to do that in a minute. But for now, just go ahead and eat your food. And when you're done, you can put them back in their normal positions, resting positions. Once you're done, you just sit in Zazen Mudra. Um, if you're going to have seconds, we want to mouth clean the utensils. I'll talk about this while you guys are eating. So if you're going to have seconds in this middle bowl, take your chopsticks and you take them and you mouth clean them. And you set them back in the original position when you were unwrapping everything. And they just sit there. And if you're going to have seconds in the Buddha bowl, you take the spoon, mouth clean it. By mouth cleaning it, I mean you clean it with your mouth, but also you're covering it so people don't watch you mouth clean your utensils. And you place it back in its same original position if you're going to have seconds. All right, looking good. So if we're doing the regular Oryoki, there'll be an announcement that it's time for seconds, and the distribution of the food remains exactly the same. So you'd bow to your bowl, move it over. Um, Dispense any food that you're going to have for your seconds. See if I can get in the right bowl. Myself a little twisted up here today. Now, and then you just distribute the food as you like. And so at this point, you will just go ahead and eat your seconds. And when you're done, things go back in their resting spots. So the spoon will go where it usually goes, handle away, chopsticks at 10 and 5, and just sit in zazen while you're waiting for that. So go ahead and serve seconds if you want seconds. Go ahead and start eating them, and we'll pick up after that. All right. Our next step is our first step in bowl cleaning. So basically just clean them out before we wash them. So once again, gasho, bow. And we start by taking our chopsticks, and once again, we'll do this mouth cleaning process. So we're going to clean them in our mouth, just like we talked about before. Only difference is this time they go down, handles on the right side, tips pointing to the left. So we're switching sides, sometimes called the closed position. And then we're going to take our setsu, and we're going to do this trickily move. You don't have to do it tricky if you don't want to, but the little tricky version is you grab the spoon with your little finger and your fourth finger. You can just pick it up if you want. Place the setsu down in the Buddha bowl, and you bring the spoon back for its mouth cleaning. And you can just exchange it with your hands. It's not a big deal. You do it that way, but that's the thing. That's the procedure. This time, spoon goes down, handle to the right, and the bowl goes facing downwards. Okay. So now we have the setsu in our Buddha bowl, and we're going to take that and we're just going to clean out any little bits of anything that might be still there in our Buddha bowl. Now, it's important to note here that you never touch your lips to the Buddha bowl. You can to the other two bowls, but never the Buddha bowl. Should have mentioned that earlier, really. Um, anyway, once we have it all scraped up, we want to eat that, but we do not want to touch our lips to the Buddha bowl. So set it back down. Same thing with our small bowl. Clean anything that's still in there. Any last little bits. Eat those up. And finally, the small bowl. Setsu goes back in the Buddha bowl, and we go back to Zazen and just wait for everybody to be done with that step. All right. The next one, the Ino will call out pure water, and this is the bowl washing step. So we start out by bowing in Gassho. We're going to move our Buddha bowl over to the left, and we're going to open our water container, and we're going to pour a little water into the Buddha bowl. Not too much, just enough to clean, basically. Don't want it half full or anything, because we're going to have to distribute the water into the other bowls as well. We pick up our bowl, we bow, and then we start cleaning. Some people clean the bowl on their left hip, some people bring it back up. But basically what we want to do is clean out the bowl with our setsu. Once we have that cleaned out, we're going to take our Buddha bowl, we're going to cover it with our hand and pour the water into the middle bowl. Then we're going to clean the Buddha bowl a little bit more, and also the outside of the Buddha bowl a little bit. The Buddha bowl is all nice and clean. The setsu goes into the middle bowl. We reach over and take our drying cloth. We pick up our drying cloth. We drape it across the Buddha bowl. We rotate the Buddha bowl clockwise. Doesn't really matter today, but clockwise. We dry the bowl off, get it completely dry. And then we kind of wad up our drying cloth into our Buddha bowl. And we want to have like a little corner sticking up when we're done with that. Okay. The next step is to take our spoon, which we're going to place in the middle bowl, and we're going to give it a clean. Once we feel we have it nice and clean, we put our setsu back in its resting position. Take our spoon, we're going to sort of come into that little corner, dry a little bit, rotate it 180 degrees, bring it back, and it goes into our drying cloth. I'm going to move my drying cloth over here so you can see a little bit better. It goes into the drying cloth, spoon side down, and it's going to rest there for a minute. Then we take our chopsticks and basically do the same thing. We're going to clean our chopsticks, get them nice and clean. Setsu goes in its resting position. Chopsticks go into our little corner. Give them a little twirl, twist if you want to. Rotate them 180 degrees. Comes back through. They go into our utensil case. We pick up our utensil case and we work our utensils back down into the bottom of our case. Don't just drop them in, just drop them. Work them down. Cover. And then we lay this back down in its original position. We want the opening to be accessible to it. So if you're laying it down to the left like I am, the opening would be pointing to the right. The setsu is going to go in there. Okay. Next step is to clean the middle bowl. So we'll clean the middle bowl just like we did with the Buddha bowl. Make sure it's all cleaned up. We'll take our bowl, move the small bowl into the center, pour the water in. Now, if you got too much water and you can't quite fit all your water into the small bowl, you can drink the water out of the middle bowl. You can take your setsu and put it in that same position facing away, but oftentimes they're kind of top heavy. So most commonly we lay it sideways on the small bowl and it just rests there. And once again, we pick up our drying cloth and we dry it. Get it all nice and clean. Our little corner sticking up. We take our setsu and we clean our small bowl. And then we clean our setsu. So we use our fingers this time. Cleaning our setsu. Get it all nice and clean. And just like before, we put it into our little corner, 180 degrees, bring it back through. And it goes into our drying cloth with the setsu tip out so that it can dry. Once you're done with that step, we're going to wait in Zazen for everybody to reach this point. Some people are doing a good job. All right. And then we call out rinse water. And everyone chants. The water with which we wash our bowls tastes like ambrosia. We offer it to all who thirst that they may be satisfied. And may the fires of greed and our excess desires be quenched. We take our water container and we bring it over. And we're going to take our small bowl and cover it so it doesn't spill over, and we'll pour it into our water container. Bow. If there's any fluid left, take a little sip. And we're going to take our drying cloth, and just like before, we're going to drape it over and dry our bowl. And we're going to wad up our drying cloth, but this time it stays in your right hand. All right, so keep it in your right hand. Place the small bowl back. And now we're going to clean off our hatan if we have one. Move our bowls over. Clean off our hatan. Pick up our bowls, grab our hatan, place the bowls back down, fold our hatan and place it on top. We'll pull out the sides of our wrapping cloth. Pull out the top. Pull out the bottom. Take the bottom, hook it up, and fold it. Mine's a little big, so I kind of fold it back over. Take the top, bring it, and fold it over. So now our bowls are partially wrapped. Next thing we do, drying cloth still in our hand, we're going to take our thumb, we're going to run it down the center of our lap cloth and pick up our lap cloth, fold it in half. Then we will fold it into thirds, run our right hand down, and we flip it over on top of our bowls. Next thing that we do is if you have a water board, we're going to want to clean that, Place it on top of your cloth. Take your utensil case, goes on top there. Sets you facing towards you. Take your drying cloth. We take the corners. We give them a little pull, not a snap, just a little pull. Right hand comes over the left corner. Left hand comes down. Give it a little pull. Left little pull. Left little pull. We fold that in half. We take it and we center it on our other materials. And we unfold it back towards us so that our drying cloth is laid out. And now we do the tricky Oryoki knot. You can either just tie it in a regular knot if you want to, or if you want to follow along, you take your left hand and you put it on top. You take your left corner and bring it between your little finger and your fourth finger, kind of angled away from you. Right side, bring it between your first and second finger, again, sort of away from you, and you kind of got two little ears here. Hold the right ear with your right hand. First two fingers on your left hand, pull the other ear through. You pick up the ear closest to you, hold it with your first finger, second finger, and your thumb on the back. Take the first ear, bring it around counterclockwise and into that space where your fingers still are, and just kind of push it in there a little bit. Then you tighten down with the top, and we have a little tiny ear, and we have a top ear over here. And we finish up with abiding in this ephemeral world, may we exist in muddy water with purity like a lotus. Nothing escapes the boundless mind. Thus we bow to the Buddha. And everybody bows as we say that. Come back up. Then typically what we'll do is we'll raise our bowls, give a little bow, and put them back over to the left, which is where we keep them. And that's Oryoki. Thank you very much for being here, man. I hit 11:55 right on the dot. Unbelievable. Anybody have any questions? You want to, I know we have to go to our next thing, so I'll let you guys go. But if anyone wants to chat for a second, I'm here. Or you can go because there's only half an hour till next time. All good. Anyway, thank you very much. This was a wonderful experience. I appreciate so many people being here. It's fantastic.